How did Swerve Strickland go from being cut by the WWE to being one of the biggest stars in all of wrestling? Could it be his insane athletic ability, amazing work on the mic, or his innovative offense that's putting fans in awe? The answer is no, because whether it was in WWE or before he caught fire in AEW, he's always possessed these skills. But something has changed that's turned him into a main event attraction and one of the top guys in AEW. When Swerve first arrived on the scene, he of course won his debut, but shortly after suffered a loss to Ricky Starks, which made him a floater in AEW right away. So what did they do? Place him in a random tag team with another big star they had no singles plans for in Keith Lee. At first, Swerve and Our Glory seemed like another meaningless tag team with a creative name that would last a few weeks, like Hookhausen, Jungle Hook, or War Joe. But AEW actually struck gold, as Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee were an amazing tag team that would soon go on to win the AEW tag titles. They were great in the ring, but the magic of Swerve and Our Glory came from the drama between the two. This was heightened due to the fact that in terms of popularity, Keith Lee was outshining Swerve in every way. Every match, people were tuning in just to see when they were going to turn on each other, because this is the feud the community wanted. Keith Lee was supposed to be a superstar regardless, but people thought Swerve needed this feud more than anybody, because his initial singles run was stale and we knew a huge heel turn would put him on the same top guy trajectory as Keith Lee. After months of teasing, they finally broke up. What we wanted was finally happening. That's until AEW completely dropped the ball on what was supposed to be one of the top feuds in AEW's history. The closest thing we got was Swerve stomping on a center block through Keith Lee, then a few tag matches nobody cared about. He hurt both of them as Lee was stuck in a truly meaningless tag team match with Dustin Rhodes called Naturally Limitless. And Swerve still went on to have amazing matches, but for a while he was caught up in a bunch of weird faction changes regarding the Mogul affiliates and the embassy. Luckily, they were finally able to finalize the Mogul embassy with Swerve, Prince Nana, Brian Cage, and the Gates of Agony. And Swerve was finally ready to focus on that singles push. He would show the world he was a true star after putting on instant classic matches against Darby Allin, Nick Wayne, Orange Cassidy, and he was the standout performer in his coffin match at All In. At this point, AEW couldn't ignore how much the fans were loving his work. He had delivered on the biggest stage. All he needed now was a big win to push him to the top of the company. Insert Hangman Adam Page, the darling of AEW and former heavyweight champion. Every Joker needs his Batman to bring the worst out in him, and that's exactly what Hangman was for Swerve. Swerve was tired of seeing others that got opportunities over him sitting comfortably with no fire lit under them, and Hangman was his definition of this. Swerve wanted everything Hangman had, and he let him know he was coming for his spot in the company at any means necessary, whether that was destroying his body, his mind, or bringing his own family into the feud. Swerve was finally going full on heel, and this is the first time we really got to see him cook in a meaningful feud. At Wrestle Dream, they put on an instant classic, and Swerve got his biggest win of his career. Everything about Hangman vs. Swerve was perfect and left the fans wanting more. This solidified him as the top heel in AEW, and the community even started vying for him to be the first black AEW heavyweight champion. And nobody can disagree with this, because there's not a flaw in his game. He's amazing in the ring and on the mic, and the fans love him. When he's on your screen, you're hearing nothing but crowd reaction, whether it's cheering and dancing during his entrance, or booing whenever he's being the devious heel he is. I mean, he's on demon mode at all times, whether that's beating Nick Wayne to a pulp in his own gym, or sneaking in Hangman's house and cutting a promo on his baby. We all praise bald Randy Orton, and Swerve is truly the closest thing we've gotten to him since. So we have a Randy Orton caliber heel with an insane moveset. How could we not love him? With all this momentum build up, Tony Khan rekindled the Hangman feud, where we saw Swerve turn the dial up to 100. Where, as mentioned before, he literally snuck into Hangman's house to show how easily he could take everything he loved away from him. You could see how Swerve's mind games were turning Hangman into the vengeful evil he was trying to fight. Swerve was not only evil, but he brought out the worst in AEW's prized babyface, Hangman Adam Page. These two brought a sense of realism and hatred that takes you back to some of the greatest feuds like Randy vs. Triple H or Shawn vs. Brett. They showed that the relationship between good and evil is not always black and white. It kept me glued to my seat, and there were weeks where the only reason I'd tune in was to see if either one of them had a match or promo scheduled. At Full Gear, they stole the show, putting on one of the best yet gruesome matches I've ever seen. Nothing speaks blood feud like literally drinking your opponent's blood. Both men showed they'd do whatever it took to win, but Strickland ultimately came out on top. Going 2-0 versus Hangman shows AEW's confidence in him to be one of the faces of the company. That's right, you heard me. The man that was once cut from WWE and played second fiddle in his own title run is now a top guy, and I'm calling it now. He will be the next AEW heavyweight champion. The cream always rises to the top, and Shane Strickland brings something to the table you can't teach. He is real. In a world where wrestling is all about star ratings, innovative spots, and how extreme you can get, Swerve provides all that, but he tells stories in and out of the ring that move you and truly make you feel. He's the type of wrestler I'd never be ashamed to show to a friend that wasn't into wrestling. He's entertaining, an outstanding heel, and makes matches feel like wars. He truly has it. It's no secret AEW has signed a multitude of talent in the past 2 years, some of them being the biggest names in the business. But if AEW strikes while the iron's hot, there's no doubt in my mind that Swerve will go down as one of their best signings ever. Let's crown this man the first black AEW heavyweight champion and make AEW
Whose house?